Hi, my name is Gayle Bauer, and right now you are looking at my course on how to use the pen tool in Adobe. This course covers three design programs: Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop. Each program has a pen tool. Sometimes there's variations on how it's used to even what it's called. So this course covers that so students can master using the pen tool. Um, this is my main screen with some interactiveness to it, some buttons to send them to important things that they may need as they're learning. A click here to start the class. And the navigation, it opens to a course overview, tech support, um, are making sure their design programs are uploaded correctly, making sure they've read the syllabus. When we reflect on, when we go to the modules, you can really see the breakout of how each module is broken down from using the pen tool in InDesign with media, showing them a live demonstration on how that's used, giving them facts about it. Because one thing about these three programs is when you get graphic design work in the real world, you have to judge what tool works best. Budget could affect that. The detailed skill level could affect that. It really depends on what the client is offering or asking for. And so those are variations. And the reason I'm telling you about this is because when you get to the interactive game, which is positioned at the end of the course, click on that here. Open that. Ideally, just reflect back here. Ideally, since I'm using a free Canvas course, I did try to see if I could scorm the file in here so that it would display within the program. But because this is a free Canvas, it did not allow me to scorm, or maybe I just don't know how to add the scorm files. I know I didn't have a scorm choice here, but I did try. So that is something I'm really excited about doing. So for now, it's an outside link. And just like I said, every design program is used differently in the real world and how you use it, how you decide to use it. So when I built this game, I have added music to it and sound effects and the instructions and how to play that. But it's at the end of the course because technically at this point, students will have done the three projects and assignments, participated in discussion. They would have at this point use the tool in all three programs and can the teacher nudging the students and how that's applied, like it leads them by the time they get here to have some mastery level. And one of the reasons behind building this course was to give students strength in a more targeted specific tool. And the pen tool is one of the hardest tools to master. I know I personally struggle with it in Illustrator and Photoshop, but I'm pretty good at using it in InDesign. Um, but this will give them confidence and kind of give them a reflection of how it's used in the real world. That was behind that. So I'm gonna hit play. We go in. We end up on this roadmap where students are given where they're going to go on the road and go to four different types of businesses. Typical businesses that as a designer you could be working with. Each one, obviously, the projects have been designed to using the pen tool. For example, if we go to the pet shop, it gives um, a briefing on what the pet shop needs and how the brand will be represented, favorite colors, pink, black, and gray. Um, it also gives a budget so they can kind of learn that, but that still doesn't hit the learning objectives. It's just a little extra in real world experience. I mean, the students are second plus year students. So it starts giving that confidence and that vision. So we start planning the projects, and I got really excited building branching scenarios here. So it gives them, okay, so the cost is this, and she gave you a brand guideline with color specs. Creating a clipping path around an image will take the most time. So selecting the best program is essential. The students are to click one of these design programs: InDesign, Photoshop, and Illustrator. These are very common how they're presented here. Those are the short ways of writing them. So all they have to do is click. It will tell them whether that works or not. And then they can click out. Hmm. And then, oh, Photoshop is great for creating clipping paths. So great job. That's what they want to do. Right now, my course, my interactive game here is open so that people are able to go freely. Ideally, it would at this point, it would automatically next would be an option for them to go to. If they hit like a wrong um, suggestion, then they can go in. So you go to the next. So the student picks the program. And remember, in this course, they use three programs. They had objectives of how they had to use it. So that aligns with them recognizing what they just learned. So in the next one, Photoshop pen tool is the best tool. It kind of gives them a scenario, like, is this statement true on how you use that program? So it emphasizes what they learned within the program of using the pen tool. Is the statement true or not true? It actually is true. So I hit next. Then it gets into like a very interesting thing. And this did get brought up in a discussion one time. How do I know they're using the pen tool correctly? I know they're using the pen tool correctly because when you clip an image, there is a certain amount of anchor points, the points where the curves are, how the lines line up. There's a certain average amount to how much an image will require when you look at the image. So this challenges them to think about that. Typically, first year designers, I know I was guilty of it. You just start like clipping little tiny spaces right along it. Well, that's not how you use the pen tool. You use the pen tool to create, yes, an outline, but not one with a zillion million anchor points. So this challenges them. Do I understand that? Even though I've done it 3 times, does this make sense? You can tell when you look at someone's clipping path if they used a lot of anchor points because the image won't be smooth. You'll see jaggeds, and you'll see like jagged edges, or like the pixels will show up. So this is a great reflection on what they learned of hitting those pin tools and understanding it. Submit. After that, it takes you right back to the game board where the icon, the process of their thing turns to color so they know that they've completed that task. Then they click on the second location to move the car. And so you go in. I was just testing there because I don't have some of the things clicked on there. So meet the font so that it can process through. So this is another scenario of working with a restaurant, creating a certain style, classy chic. They consider black and white their primary color. And you reference classic chic. I didn't, yeah, because in the third example, I mean, in the third module, when we get to Illustrator, we talk about art style. So just like painting. So when you look at painting, you have modern, Renaissance, people who work in dots, pop art, you have different styles. So in reality, when you're using Illustrator and you're doing a detailed illustration, you're creating those styles there by how you use it. My personal style is very like a poster type of look, but there's some people who can build illustrations where they look real. Think of Disney's cartoons and things like that. So that reflection, it kind of goes along, like I'm relaying through storytelling and narration here that, this is, I'm connecting those dots and how they use them. And just like the last module, it goes in and students are to pick the program that works the best. Um, so they're building out outlines for a restaurant. So maybe InDesign is the great tool. They learned that in the first module because in the discussion, part of building the graphics was creating an outline of fruit. Here they're doing outlines of restaurant menu items. It gives them a little challenge on understanding how to close a path in InDesign because it's a unique program. It's the only one that does it in there. Illustrator and Photoshop do not do this. So it builds that connection in defining how each one's used and moving on from there. Oops, you have to click yes. It gives them another tool, looking for this food outline. You can determine how many anchor points this item has, and then submit. And then you move right back to the game board and you go there. So as they go through, and now they meet Jose, and he's the owner of a hardware store. Same thing, he wants illustrations, um, because in print's not like, say, newspaper is not the best thing. Ideally, a hardware store is going to run in a newspaper. So his photos are appearing washed out. So he would like some items like screws, nails, redone in an illustration. Um, and he's budgeted 3, so we know, like, so someone doesn't pick the right one, next comes up, and it still says a positive statement. InDesign is an excellent tool for creating simple graphics rather than detailed illustrations. So it challenges the user to try again. They learned in the course building in-depth custom graphics is an illustrator. So we click to next. It talks about the benefits. Actually, all of these are benefits of using Illustrator and creating a real life graphic. Finally, we get to the showroom. And again, if you're watching the process, it is lighting up to different colors. And next, now a car dealership, again, a lot of car dealerships run in newspapers. So, and the backgrounds are distracting from the actual product they're trying to sell. So they need photos that have clipping paths. Notice we call it clipping paths, not anchor points, not yet using the pen tool. In Photoshop, it is called clipping paths, making clipping paths. That's what you use the pen tool for. It goes through on what will work best for this, how to do these ads. What's unique about this one is every single thing they can use. So they would create the clipping paths in Photoshop. Then they would do the page layouts, making the images overlap. They could do that in InDesign. Or they could combine all the images in Illustrator. So there are options to understand that how these tools connect and how you use them is important, and where you use them and what for. So that, and that's the last stop on their roadmap journey. There's a polling question. It is more for the school to understand, okay, if we build these mini courses, because in my mind, this is a mini course. If they build these mini courses, is this going to be beneficial? CMYK, RGB, understanding those different things. Oops. And then the course ends. It finishes, the car starts and then finishes to the end. And then the next one, just the end screen. Um, so the learners, this is not a competing contest for the students. This is them getting in here and playing this game. It really shouldn't take them long to do. So when they win, this is where they go throughout the course when they're doing the branching scenarios. It gives them little prompts there to understand that. Um, if they're right or wrong, or reflecting back on things that were said in the course and the either like, well, in the presentations is a good place. Or maybe, maybe the teacher prompts something in a discussion. So it connects those learning objectives to the actual course. And this last step really of this program, a program of this course, excuse me. But anyhow, that is my interactive course. Um, it does end on a survey. And the roadmap is at the end. Anyhow, thanks for listening. All right, bye.